Hello, everybody. Welcome to Messages from Ramadear. In April, we're talking about the two books that I've written about Ramadear. Ramadear is an extraterrestrial that I channel. And yeah, when I started channeling him, he said we were going to write three books together. The first book, this one came out a couple of years ago, and it's me asking questions of Ramadear that I thought other humans would want to know the answers to. And so he answered all of those questions. And then book two just came out in February, and it is where I held public events, and the participants would ask questions. And Ramadear would then, I would channel the answers through Ramadear. So that's what book two is about. Book three is with you. So what I'm doing is just taking a couple of questions, and we're going to just discuss them really briefly. And then I want your input. Not necessarily on that question, but a question that you might have for Ramadear, and that will end up being in the third book. So it'll be all private. There won't be any names attached to it, but I've gotten some really great questions so far, and I appreciate it so much. You won't get the answer immediately, but I am going to take a break at the end of the year, and I will channel all of the answers to the questions that you have asked throughout this year. So please, 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 you can just go to my website. You can comment on this video, however you want to participate with your questions that you want an answer to. They can be personal questions, global questions, galactic questions. It really makes no difference at all. So I appreciate it. The response so far has been wonderful. I'm excited about it, but always looking for more questions, because to write a book is going to take a lot of questions. All right, the two that I kind of randomly picked today. First question is, I have tried to do meditation, but I have a lot of animals in the house. And when I start to go in deep, something with them happens and it jolts me right out, and I cannot find my way back in. What is a good way to distract that noise so I can continue? And Ramadear basically said those are excuses, that you can always find a quiet place. And that can be put the animals outside for a few minutes, or you can go outside, you can sit in your car, you can go to a library, there's a lot of different ways that you can meditate. So when people say, oh, I just can't do it, that is an excuse, according to him. And the other thing is that this comes from Ramadear and also myself, that people think meditation has to be done a certain way for a certain amount of time. And that's simply not true. To me, meditation is when you're doing something and you lose time. That can be doing the dishes. It can be mowing the lawn. It can be doing, an art project. It can just be sitting out in the sun. Wherever you are, and all of a sudden you go, oh, wow, has the time passed that fast already? That's meditation, because you've let your mind kind of escape and go elsewhere. So it doesn't have to be sitting, in the lotus position, and opening up. It takes time, it takes practice to do that kind of meditation. And you want to start with a minute to see if you can hold it for 1 minute. You don't have to sit there and go, I'm going to meditate for a full hour. No, you don't have to do that. I mean, it's a goal that I think we'd all love to work towards. But start with 1 minute that way. Or if that way doesn't work for you at all, then you're going to, find out what brings you joy where you lose time. And what I also find with meditation, especially when you're first starting, it is, okay, I'm going to clear my head. And, oh, wait a minute, I have to go to the grocery store. And I mean, that's the way our mind works. So you pull it back in and go, oh, thank you for reminding me. I'm going to come back in and I'm going to clear my head. I wonder what I should have for dinner tonight. Thank you for reminding me. Let's pull that back in. It's a constant. Those are the big distractions, is your own mind. And what you do is just recognize it, say thank you, pull it back in until you're able to completely hold it for, let's say, a full minute without those interruptions. Time and practice. But right now, you don't need the excuses. You do what you love to do. Where you lose time, that's meditation. Or go outside, leave your animals inside, go sit in your car for a minute. It doesn't have to be for a long period of time. So start your meditation if you choose. Again, there's no law, there's no rule. Do what you want to do. All right, another question was, when you were here before, you spoke about programming, and that is something I have been working on here to erase those old negative thoughts that no longer serve me. So I am wondering about abundance, letting things come to me with ease. I have a tough time with that. Can you help me? Um, and I love that question because we all deal with old programming. I mean, from the minute we're born, actually before we're born, when we're in utero, we're subjected to programming. And that comes from our parents, it comes from our siblings, it comes from playmates, from our teachers, from our bosses. And it is absolute programming. And we have to learn what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And if it doesn't work for you, let it go. The trick is letting it go without judgment of yourself or anybody else who did the programming, because you chose to believe it. One of my favorite stories, and this is, you've probably all heard it. I've been talking about it for quite a long time, but it gets the point across. Is there was a newly married couple who were going to be hosting Easter dinner. So the woman pulled out a ham, cut both ends off the ham, put it in her pan, and put it in the oven. And her husband said, "Why'd you cut the ends off the ham?" And she said, "Well, that's the way my mom always did it." And so mom came over. She goes, "Mom, why'd you cut the ends off the ham before you put it in the oven?" She goes, "Well, that's the way my mom always did it." So grandma comes. "Grandma, why'd you cut the ends off the ham before you put it in your pan?" She goes, "Oh, so it would fit in my pan." Does that programming continue to serve this new young couple? Not if their pan's big enough. No, it doesn't. So is it who is right and who is wrong? Nobody. I mean, that's what programming can be. We just think that we just continue to do it because it's out of habit. It's all we've ever known. But you want to start questioning that. So when this question came up in this book about abundance, we first want to look at our parents and how did our parents handle money? You know, in my family, my dad was a saver, my mom was a spender. So it was that contradiction. Who was right and who was wrong? Neither one. You know, do we want to save money? Yeah. But do we need to spend money? Yeah. We want to keep things circulating. And so that's what, with abundance, you want to look first at your parents and what was their reaction to money. And, you know, I don't know about you, but money doesn't grow on trees. And, you know, we'd laugh and make jokes about it and pretend to go pick leaves and say, look at it's green, just like money. But, you know, when you have that kind of programming, it means money's not abundant. And you have to say, yeah, there's enough for me, there's enough for everybody. And you can even say the mantra that I always have enough. There's always plenty. But we have those blocks that we've either created ourselves, but many times it can start with parents. It can be past life stuff too. I've seen that many times where people lived through a depression, lived through a potato famine, lived through poverty in the country where they were raised in this past life. And they brought that lack over into this lifetime. And so they think there's not enough, or they think they're going to lose it all. That I have to collect, I have to hoard because I'm going to lose it. And that came from that past life. Or it could have come from your ancestors too, who maybe did live through a depression and did lose everything. But is that your life? Is that your situation right now? Chances are pretty good no, it's not. So when you think about abundance, first of all, you want to define what is abundance. Is it money? Or is it abundance of love? An abundance of friends? An abundance of, it can't be money, abundance of whatever. Define what abundance is to you, first of all. And then I always have plenty. There's always enough. And start reprogramming yourself instead of the lack or the blocks that you either inherited from your ancestors or you brought over from past lives. Again, don't blame anybody. It's just time to change the way you think. So that's what Ramadear has to say about that. Please, your questions. These books are available through me. You can get them on Amazon, Goodreads, Barnes & Noble, online. And please, please, please help me write the third book and send me your questions. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Blessings to all of you. Bye.